Clear prop!
Now that I have graduated flight school, come with me as I continue training and fly to new places in the pursuit of fun and adventure. This will be hanging the prop, take one.
Take one. What do you edit it with?
I have a couple of different, I have 2 software packages in Linux, either Pitivy or OpenShot. I think I pronounced it right. Pitivy. I got these gloves at home, I use it. I got a buddy of mine there.
I think the pin will go up. Here, let's just pick it up and we'll see.
I guess so.
Don't touch the ends because they're wet paint. Well, they're probably not wet now. Okay, so if we put it on this way, it's going to be backwards. So we're going to do this. What do you think?
Oh, so that hole going to that deal right there? Is that?
That's not what they say.
Or do we? This prop need to be vertical?
Yeah, that's what they want. They want the pin in here. Correct?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the destructions. I mean, I kind of.
Hang on to it. Look at it. Because I remember screwing this up. It doesn't make it still runs. I don't like it more balanced. Yeah, if they want it like that, then the prop's going to be vertical. Correct?
So then this white pin should go to my left.
Well,
right?
no, you go up on your left hand.
Okay.
Like this.
Okay.
If you're like this, is that going to work? No, it's still going to be candid, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think. Well, let's stick it on here real quick and see. Like that. That ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work at all. These holes don't line up. Like that. Line up just as. Let's see. Nope, that ain't gonna work. We gotta go more towards you.
Okay, you're on it now. I can see. Let's go in.
Was I?
Let's go in.
That.
Is it good?
Well, that pin's matcher. It's not all the way in, but I mean that's.
Oh.
Did we?
Yeah, but it doesn't let us see it. So I wish you were going to be on the other side.
Yeah, the witness marks on the flange kind of indicate that.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, well, I think it's
All right, just want to get those off there. You might have to.
filled it up. Couldn't have done that.
Be a little bit messy. That's why I'm wearing a shirt that I don't care about.
You need a photographer.
We're into the watchful eyes of the GoPro. All your friends here at Fox 69 are watching. Yeah. What's Steve up to this week?
Got it?
Yeah. If you want to grab a paper towel and clean some of the oil before it goes running all down here.
It's okay. I don't care to run down me.
And I'm about you, not about the front of the airplane.
Right, because the plane airplanes are happy.
No, I was going to say that very soon. That's why you pulled it out and washed it.
Not that hard.
So we are, I believe we are, well, not fully firmly seated.
Yeah, but we're going to have to back off with nuts on.
Yes, we are. Exactly what we're doing, folks. using an open-end wrench here because we have next to no clearance. Just to give you since video is so one-dimensional, it's kind of, you're not tightening these guys with a socket. You're just not. We got to kind of just like putting on mounting a tire. Not quite doing the star pattern, but as even as possible.
Well, we will at the end. We'll do the star at the end. When we finally do our torque, the torque is supposed to be 55 to 65 foot-pounds. So getting the torque wrench in is going to be fun. If you bend your wrench just right, you can get a little more than a half a turn out.
So I sent you an email, I think it was last night. I finally got around starting to get these videos edited and put up, and so okay, I guess it's pulling that in.
Well, it better. That's not supposed to do that. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Get it where they're flush to the outside of the nut, so we're even. I'm flushing all mine, so it looks like you're going in further already. That's okay. Just remember, Granddaddy Bob said you don't know when it's tight enough, but you know when it's too tight.
Hey, Bob. Oh, Bob. If I have any...
That's that plane right there next to us is what he crashed at Grandma's place in Paw Paw, Illinois.
Really?
He was in pilot training. He wanted to go see Mom, who'd never been in an airplane, and show her, you know, how neat a pilot he is. It was either a Stearman or it was a T6 Texan. I'm not absolutely sure because I don't have the picture. Somebody does. But anyhow, let me tighten up a little more. You're ahead of me. And he got on the brakes too soon and went over, nosed over. You think about that. It's pretty hard to nose over a tail dragger, really, to nose it over. You got to pretty much lock your brakes to do it, or go in a gopher hole.
Yeah, he must have just stood on that sucker.
No, well, he could have, man, if he was doing if the field was shorter than he thought he was, and he was getting ready to go into the lake or whatever have you, and then he jumped on those brakes. But you still got to be going pretty fast. And so what happens is they sent some people up from the nearest air base, and they got the plane upright, flew it out of there. So either they put another prop on it, or I don't know what they did.
Well, all mine are cinched. They're not torqued, but they're snugged up against the flange.
And that one's snugged up. And that one's snugged up. Are we still bleeding?
I'm trying to ascertain that right now. I don't think so. I think that that was just a little bit that came out.
It's all right. I don't mind it bleeding a little bit.
Let you know it's alive.
Any oil I can get in there is good. The hub is full of grease, and it is never changed. The newer props have a grease fitting on the prop, on the hub.
Right.
This one doesn't have one. That's what what's his name, Hannah, was asking me. You know, can you change the grease? I said, no, you can't do that.
So with the gear reduction deal, when you kill the engine, does this thing just come to a sudden abrupt stop? Or does it kind of spin and then do the little rock when it gets done?
The answer to that is if you have good compression, it'll go boom.
And just stop?
And if you have poor compression, it'll go zoom, zoom. So yeah, that's a function of compression. That's all that is.
Well, I mean, the gearbox is the wild card here, because on the IO360 on my trainer, you killed it. You get a little one or two little rocks out of it as the compression neutralized across the cylinders.
Well, and that's a Lycoming.
Yes.
And Lycoming's a kind of a different animal because of the way they do they don't do their One has a cam on top, one has a cam on the bottom. So they don't quite work the same way. So, but they'll do the same thing in terms of being shut off and going boom, 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 boom. And wintertime has a function on it too. All right.
Yeah,
We'll see if
the contraption will work.
if my colored engineering will work.
All right, so what we have here is a little slightly modified torque wrench. I'm going to use this phrase, slightly modified.
I think I built it backwards. I kind of built it backwards. Had a 50-50 chance of building it straight, but I built it backwards. But I mean, it'll still torque. You see what I mean?
Right?
It would be better if it was like this.
Yes.
And it won't torque in the loosening position, it'll only torque in the tightening position. So I've got 31. Well, let me try one to see what hell happens. That's all I can do.
That'll give you a loud audible click.
I hope so.
You hope so.
I'm not going all the way. Can I get in here? Let me come over there. I think I can get the wrench over here. I'm not sure I can. What's that? That's not good.
What?
Boy, is this a joke.
Oh, you're off. Try again. There, now you're on it.
Okay, let me go over there. I'm supposed to do a star pattern, you know. See, now if I do it like this, Jay, then I can do it at 50. I can set my wrench at 50 because I'm pulling literally from this spot.
Right.
Straight down. But if I go like this, I got to set my wrench at around 31.
Yeah, essentially that you've turned from into a cheater bar.
Yeah. So I might just do that. Go to 50 and use it at a 90 degree because now I see I think I can do that. Well,
God,
it's
you're
not
right.
tightening, that's loosening. Oh, it's tightening.
No, you weren't on it. You were starting to round. There you hold a sec, Steve. You weren't on it all. There, now you go. Why am I not hearing a click? I mean, 50 foot-pounds is not that much.
Yeah, it is too.
50 foot-pounds? I mean, I can bench press 85 pounds. I'm kind of a weakling. It's working on that.
See, the wrench has to turn this way. Well, let me come over there and I'll try it and make it click for you.
Huh. So if you had a bench vise, I'd put that sucker in the bench vise and exercise it and make sure it was actually clicking.
Well, I can do that.
That's one way of confirming.
So you gotta twist it the right way.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
I gotta hold the wrench the right way. Wait,
Oh, hold a sec, you're not on there.
I ain't gonna get on it now. We're not. Tell me I'm getting
Okay,
on
now you're on it, 100%. There's a click.
it. So we'll just verify that we got 20.
Talk about just peeking around the corner with this guy.
I'm not being able to get on that one very easily. Am I doing that better from the other side or this side? Is that the bottom one?
What?
Or is that the bottom one?
They're both level. That's the left bottom and that's the right bottom.
Well, we got to get on that one. I don't think we've been getting on that one. I don't think we've been getting on this one. Can you guide my wrench? Let's see.
All right, you're 100% on.
I haven't been doing it. Okay, okay. So we got them all torqued to 20, don't we?
I would tend to agree with that.
Go to the other side of the wrench. I remember, yeah, it's like you were talking about your Army training. That's my Air Force training, you know, how to handle a torque wrench. We had a whole class on that.
We go up here. All right, you're on it.
Nope, I'm going the wrong way.
No, you're turning the right way.
I got to roll my wrench because I got to push. I mean, I got to.
Oh, right. You did. We were turning it the wrong way. Oh, hold a sec. All right, now you're on. All right, you're on. Okay.
I'm gonna try this little guy. Oh, I'm gonna have
to.
There I'm on.
Okay.
Those guys they're always here. Okay. We do now those at 20 works. Let's go to 30. How's that sound?
Sounds like
then
quick
we'll make
testing.
a calculation for 55. Remember 31 was 50. So I'm gonna go in the star. The way Rogers taught me to do it, and I don't do it that way. He was taught in World War II, he built engines, and he built engines for Braniff.
Mm-hmm.
He did everything in a star.
So you go on the bottom?
Excuse me. He torqued every nut and then
All right, you're on it.
And then retorqued. Oh, I got to go. I got to turn my wrench around. Remember, I got to pull on it. He would put every motor wrench to torque, and then would turn around, loosen it, and do it again. Hold the prop.
Got it.
It's turning. So which one did I do here?
You think you did that one last? All right, you're on it. Oops. All right, now you're on it.
Okay.
Interesting. There's a little, just enough little slop in the gearbox.
Yeah, that's called run out. Which one are we gonna do?
Let's see. So you did this.
I did the hard one. This, so I really ought to do this one.
Yeah, I think this is the next one up here.
I think we'll have them all at 30. Let me go over this side. As long as we got most of them torqued, we're okay.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I guess if one works its way off somehow, the other ones will keep the prop from falling off. All right, you're on.
Have we done this one?
No, I don't think we have.
Yeah, we have.
I think so.
And the very bottom one we've done.
I believe we have.
And I think that would tell us we got them all.
All right, you're on it. Oops, sorry, I'm holding the prop.
It's not working yet. When you do a compression check and you put 100 pounds of pressure in your cylinder, you have to hold the prop.
Because the cylinder, the piston will push down.
And I mean, you really got to hold it, because it's pushing down on you like about 100 pounds. It's really pushing. If you let it go, it'll go boom. So and when you try to do that by yourself, it's tricky. You hold the gauge right here, and then you let the air out, and then that thing starts pulling like crazy. Okay, now let's go up. What do we want to go up to?
Paperwork.
I think I'd really go to the middle of those two numbers.
Well, that'd be 60. It's a nice round number.
Okay, so instead of 6 12s or 72, right? So 60 foot-pounds is 12 times that, 720.
720.
Okay, and that calculates the inch pounds 451.46. Some on 30. 2, 4, 6, 37. It says 37.6, but I think it's close enough. Let's do it. Hope we didn't forget something.
Hanging the prop on 344 Tango.
Let me see if I push
Go
it.
up. Well, almost down. Oh, he went past it. Why is it not? There it goes.
It's tight. That's what she said. I'm doing the wrong way.
Oh yeah, it needs to go down. Yeah, that's righty tighty.
Well, it's counterintuitive, because the cork wrench has to be pulled one direction. Torque wrenches don't work on loosening torque. They only work on tightening torque.
All right,
Okay.
I think I'll be all right. All right, I got the prop. Wow.
The whole thing's bending. A wrench and everything.
You okay?
Okay, now I gotta roll it this way. on this side. So which one did I do?
So you did this one here.
So I'm going to try to do this one down here, okay?
So that you're going to be lifting.
Lifting. True. Here we go. Lift.
Lift.
I'm not. Okay.
Okay, you're on it. All right.
Okay, now I'm going to go to this one.
Okay. And that is also going to be a lift.
Lift.
Let's get on there, big. Hold a sec, you're not square. Hold on, Steve, hold on.
Okay.
Lift up. Lift up a little bit. You're not, okay. Okay, you're oh, now you're on. All right, go for it.
You're not supposed to push a wrench.
Well, these are difficult times.
Okay, what's next?
All right, so we've done that. I think this guy right here in the middle.
So I'm going to pull down.
And you're going to pull him down. All right.
Ooh, okay. What's next?
Let's see.
We did we do this?
Let's see. Did we do?
We did these two. Did we do the very bottom one?
No, I know that has not happened yet. And that one is, yeah, it's going to be a pull or a pull.
Yeah, it's going to be a pull, but I got to have room to do it. I'm not sure I got room to do it. I ain't got room to do it. Can't do it. Let me think about it for a minute. I can't get on it there either. I might be able to get it on here.
Of course, you can't.
No, that didn't do it. But I hear you, but I'm gonna have to take this wrench up to 50.
So.
You see what I mean?
Well, why can't I just turn the prop?
Oh, okay. Because I wanted to keep it at top dead center.
Well, we can put it back.
You don't know where it is anymore.
Yeah, it's right at the top of my head.
Oh, okay. You're gonna do that? I'll do it just
Well, yeah. If you move that around, I just gave you some extra space.
Okay.
Let me get that one, then I'll just push it back up and it'll be at the top of my head. Which is not very scientific, but...
Actually, the good news is I can figure out which way to turn this wrench. There we go. And we did them.
All right, so I can go back. Top of my head right here. Boom.
Well, this is kind of how you check one of these kind of props. I don't know if they did that with your walk around on your tail dragger, but you can do a little. You can look for that kind of wobble, and you can look for that not that, but the prop itself in there. So it's pretty good. This is run out.
Okay.
That little wiggle.
Well, on the Decathlon was not a gear reduction. That was...
Still, when you check the blades for wobble, you're checking for wobble in the hub, and it had a hub too. It probably didn't have a Macaulay prop. It probably had a...
Oh, I should know this. I think that was a question on my check ride.
The Macaulay is this one, and the other one, the big manufacturer besides Macaulay is... I can't think of it.
It'll come to you in
Seneca.
Seneca. So on my pre-flight on the Cessna 172, walk up to it. Normally I just take my hands, I run my hands around all the edges of the prop, and then I would grab the spinner and do a shake test, and that would tell me if there's anything loose, if the prop was loose, or if there's something with the prop to the airplane that was loose. And that was pretty much, that was all the attention the prop got.
When I first got this, I did the same thing, and I made a big mistake. I didn't realize the nose cone is fiberglass. So I spun it and broke it. I mean, I took it and did that and broke it.
Shit.
You can see how it's fiberglass. But
Yeah, the cone
of course,
on.
you can buy a new one of these for around $600.
Is it still fiberglass? Or
Yes. So
what happened to stainless steel?
I'm not going to put it on. A lot of them did, but this particular one just used fiberglass. I don't know why.
I
mean,
paid
think it's
$600
good.
for steel, not
It's
fiberglass. Hell,
It's light.
that's like
they're
a
not
bird
steel-
strike could
they're
blow
not
that up.
steel anyway. They're spun aluminum.
well, what was metal? Metal versus something made of thread and glue. So yeah, you don't need to put that on because, I mean, literally, okay, so we got the prop hung. Now we're at the point. The next steps is putting your battery in it, pulling out the top spark plugs and motoring it and checking for oil pressure.
Yeah,
And,
and a lot of the mechanics think that you can motor it with your hands and get oil pressure, and you don't even need the starter.
Well, I mean,
I've never done that, but I've always used the starter with this.
you might get a little bit, a tiny bit, few PSI or something like that, enough to fill all your galleries and
Yeah.
fill the passages.
Well, see,
and-
that's what I got to do is I got to fill it all up. I mean, see, because
I mean, you-
have put in already. How many quarts did I put in already?
Writing that stuff down.
No, I don't have to. It doesn't make any difference. I put in 8 quarts.
It looks like it's right there at 6.
Yeah, so it's sucking in oil. It needs more oil. It keeps going. It's going to keep using oil to fill everything up. And I'm putting in. I'm putting in. There's 3 grades. This is an aero shell without any additives. And when you break in a new engine, you don't want any additives. You want the rings to seat quickly onto the cylinder wall.
So you know what? That was a check ride question. The question is, what do they use for breaking an engine? Mineral oil.
That's
Mineral oil.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And then unless now
Well-
this got me bonus points with Kriss Webb. Mineral oil unless you're in the Bahamas, and they use coconut oil. It's because that's just what's available.
Actually, it's just, they call it mineral oil. It isn't mineral oil anymore. It's just regular oil without additives. So when you start it up, those rings get slung out hard, and they seat into those cylinders before the glaze can happen. The glaze is that dark brown hard stuff. Because once the glaze happens, you can't break the glaze any other way than pull the piston out and run a brush up through there with stones and regrind it.
So
So you don't want to use additives and all that sort of stuff.
so
break-in oil.
I'm not so sure you say, oh, they don't make mineral oil anymore, because, and I want to disagree, because that's what they put in transformers.
Mineral oil.
Mineral oil and transformer,
Yeah, but
like
I
the big.
always thought mineral oil was that clear stuff.
Well, that's what they use. They put it in the big
This stuff isn't clear.
Well, it's
It's
but
oil.
mineral oil is a totally different type of oil.
Yeah, this is oil
You can
color.
go buy mineral oil at the drugstore and put it on your bunions or whatever the hell it's for. I don't
This
know.
is in a red can, and then there's a 100W, and it's the regular oil you should use. But see, this is
Yeah, it's got a golden hue
it's
to
a
it.
little bit golden.
That was that's the oil we use in the Cessnas. Except no, these are the ones with the detergent stuff, because it.
Yeah, this is the Cessna.
The 172, not the 175. The Skyhawk, not the Skylark.
Well, all the Cessnas have Lycoming engines except for these, and these had Continental engines. Oh, of course, the bigger Cessnas have Continental engines. Here's a good trivia question. Maybe it has to stand on your test. What is the significance of right there?
At the end of the dipstick?
Yes.
I do not know.
At the end of the dipstick is the very minimum amount of oil that you can have in the engine and run without maneuvering.
So just straight and level flight.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you maneuver, it don't work that way. And generally speaking, if you fill this guy up to 10 quarts, it will throw the first quart out through the breather in the first 10 minutes.
Shit.
So you really, in this particular one, you don't run it all the way full of oil. I mean, I will fill it this time with oil. Because see, I got a quart in here that this is an add-on ADC filter, which is a aftermarket filter, which is STC to this engine. That means supplemental type certificate.
I know.
And it holds a quart. So even though that says 10, you could put in 11, and this takes one of them.
Well, I thought you just put in 10 and fill the filter first.
I did. I filled it. Yeah.
That's back when I used to spin-on oil filters on my Cummins in the other
right?
truck.
Yeah.
I always would top fill it up because it just shortens the amount of time before the oil pressure comes up.
Here's what the oil used to look like. Here's what the old oil used to look like.
Oh, you got one of those old the old black can. Oh, it's not. Now I'm looking for like the old, like this. This is old.
Oh yeah.
Look at
I thought you see that. That's the really old stuff. That's
the one.
classic.
Where's the snout? You have a snout?
Yeah, I don't have one, but yeah, I know.
Oh my God, that's those.
That's really old stuff.
See, when I was a kid.
See, that's straight mineral oil, which is the same stuff in that red can.
Straight
It
mineral
says
oil for
straight
aircraft
mineral
is-
oil. They just don't say it like that anymore. But it's the same stuff. And I'll end up using this probably. What have I got here? I got another bottle of that stuff. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of old crap in here. So here you go.
Marvel mystery oil. Oh, that cures all ills.
No kidding. When you put that into your cylinders, it will really deglaze them pretty good. It will really allow them to rehome pretty quick. So that is a fix. You know, if you got sticky valves, you know, they call it morning sickness. When you first start it up, it goes clack, 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 clack. And then when it warms up, it smooths out. Put this through it, and it'll get rid of that buildup.
That's funny.
And see, here's an old, I didn't know I had this.
Oh,
It's an old Champion.
is that for your bird?
Actually, I have a 108. The difference between a 104 and a 108 is
Extra holes?
no, there's a valve in there, a little clapper valve.
Oh, to prevent drain back.
That's right, to prevent drain back. And the Lycomings mount this thing like this, remember? Looking in there, they're like this. So they'll just drain out. So you put that clapper valve in there. So that's the difference there. That's a little bit of trivia. God,
So here's
that's
the.
an anodizing solution.
So I'll ask you this question because this was also a check ride thing that Jeff. You know, we use Aeroshell oil in our aircraft because it lubricates, it cleanses, and he claims that the oil
There's
seals.
5.
Does the oil seal?
There's 5.
Lubricates, cleanses, seals,
Temperature,
cools.
Okay.
And lubricates. Okay.
It cushions. Another one is cushion. In other words, it cushions two parts coming together, like on tappets.
How about within the crank journals and your connecting rods?
Yeah, where it comes around and slaps around, so it cushions. Let's see.
My God, I've already forgotten.
And it's anti-corrosive. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a rust resistant. So there's 5 of them. Yeah.
Cleanses, lubricates, cushions, cools, and
basically rust preventive.
corrosion, anti-corrosion.
Yeah, and it does another one too. Actually, it removes water. The vapor in the water, the oil. You turn the engine off, and the oil's warm, and there's moisture in the engine because the engines are open to the air, and the water gets sucked into the oil. And then when you start it up, that oil gets hot and it pushes the water out of the
Okay. So what's really interesting is part of my pre-flight.
That's the same with your fuel. Remember, they want you to they want you to park the airplane with full tanks.
Less room for condensation.
Yeah.
So I would pull the dipsticks on 190 Mike Echo or dipstick before, part of the pre-flight, and if first thing in the morning there'd be all the snot, all the boogers and stuff on the dipstick because it had all that moisture in there.
Yeah. So the other thing, part of getting all this ready, I did do the brakes. I didn't show you that. What you normally, an easy way to do the brakes is you open them down here and you take a can and you squirt the fluid and it comes all the way back up here to the master cylinders and squirts out.
Right.
But it kind of makes a mess, but it's easy. The hard way, yeah, you break that line. The hard way is you go in there.
But right here, this has a.
Yes, that's where you go in.
Okay, so
No, you just loosen the cock.
Well, you loosen the cock and.
It sounds like you loosened enough.
No. You loosen the drain cock on it, and you have somebody step on the brakes, and then you squirt some out, and then while they're still on the brakes, you tighten it back up.
Yeah, but in this case, you squirt it out, and then you put your hose that's full of fluid on it, and then you take your oil can and squirt it back into it.
Go back up into the cockpit?
Yes.
What?
Well, look right here. Step up and look in there. Now, try to look at the master cylinder behind each pedal, and look at the plug that's in it and how hard it would be to get that out, and how messy it would be to try to put fluid in there. See it?
Yeah, I see it.
So it's a disaster area. So it's easier to just put a big rag around that thing, pull the plug out, pump it in from the bottom until it squirts out the top. See, there's two master cylinders there, right and left.
Yep, right wheel, left
Now,
wheel.
see, I redid those, and see, I cleaned it all up in there, and then I put that fairing back on it again. Yeah.
So you can make PAs to your passengers?
It works, yeah. and I should have there's a GPS antenna right there.
Yep.
And there should be a wire down here to it, because I've got a Garmin 460, 496, yeah. Which is the bigger Garmin. Anyway, did I lose my wire? I got it down there. I hope I didn't. It's down in there somewhere. I'll get it. But that's the autopilot. I wouldn't trust your life on it.
The Nav-O-Matic. I'd be afraid to turn it on.
Well, when you turn it on, you want it to move you, and then you know it's alive. Anyway, there's a starter on this one.
What?
See the button?
Oh, way the hell over there.
Yeah, I did. It was.
Oh, so it doesn't. You don't sit here and.
No, originally it didn't, and somebody changed long time before me changed that out to left, right, and both. But as you can see up there, it had a left, right, both, and start.
So they just put in the wrong ignition switch.
No, he put in a manual starter, and I don't know why Roger did it, but I relocated it over here, and the reason I left it and never replaced it is because, well, one, it's an authorized way to do it, but two, if somebody strange gets in this plane to try to start it, they're never going to find the starter. You'd never look for it over there, would you?
Well, the only
so I actually hit it. It was right somewhere on the panel, and I actually hit it right there on that bulkhead.
So of course I'm videoing this as to go up on the internet where it'll be there forever. So the only thing I could imagine a problem with that is you got the thing hidden. If you're in an engine out situation, you got a million things going on in the cockpit, you're looking for your spot to land, you're trying to run checklists, trying to get the damn thing to start back up, and you're sitting there trying to find your damn starter button, and you got all this junk going on. That could be a problem.
If you know your airplane, you won't have that.
Well, Steve, I don't know.
And on this one, that is the cow flaps. See the little silver button there? When you push them in, the cow flaps are open. When you pull them out, the cow flaps are closed. On a lot of the later planes, it works back asswards from that. Watch out, I don't have them hooked up. So you'll drop them out. You'll pull out the cable.
That's how I went back 3 inches.
Yeah, but they do lock in position, and of course that's the primer.
So instead of on the 172 where we hit the boost pump and count to 5 or whatever and turn it off, this one, do you actually have to pump it or something, or is that okay?
Exactly. And there's O-rings in that, and they just basically pump the prime, and there's in the back 4 cylinders are primed, and then of course that's what the fuse used to look like. And of course I added all those right there.
So why is your manifold pressure gauge sitting not at 0?
A manifold pressure gauge is a way to tell if you're out in the middle of nowhere in the Sahara Desert and you got to take off and you don't know your air pressure. You can look at a dead manifold gauge and it'll tell you generally what your air pressure is. 2992 standard. It's sitting right around 2992.
Well, it sure the hell is.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And so when the engine's running, it'll pull it. Your pressure will be negative in the manifold.
Right.
And then you go, okay.
Right.
So on this one, refresh my memory, when you take off, of course the prop is all the way in. Get going.
So prop and then power. So that's how to add power. You add the prop first and then the power. And then when you are slowing down, you're at altitude and you're coming to the airport and you want to slow down. If you pull the power back first, or remember, if you gun that powder, that prop's going to go like this. So what you do is you go prop in and then power for takeoff, and for landing you go backwards. You adjust your prop first and then you pull your throttle back.
Okay, that's totally different than flying in the decathlon, where normally it's part of your gumps. Gumps, gas is set to both, gas to both, undercarriage,
right?
Mix, full, prop and power. We'd go, as we land, we'd go full in. Well, first I'd push power or pull power, then spin the prop in.
When you're starting to land, which do you do first, power or prop?
We do prop. No, I'm sorry, power. Power, pull the power back, then spin in the prop. And then if I needed extra power,
then you add it back.
Then I just add the power back with the prop all the way in. Mm-hmm. No big deal. But you definitely didn't want to just at full power jam the deal,
right,
because it's a fiberglass
the prop will surge.
Oh, it would surge. It'd destroy it. It'd come apart.
It won't come apart.
Well, fiberglass prop, the whole prop probably didn't weigh 4 pounds on the decathlon.
Well, how much do you think that prop weighed that we put on?
50, 60,
yeah.
Somewhere in there, I think.
Yeah, and it's way out there on the far end. That's why you got to put the battery in the back, or another big reason. So anyhow, and then see the clicks on the, this is the flaps. See how the flaps, how they click as you pull it. You got to push the button to pull it back. Mm-hmm. And then when you let the button go, it'll lock into a position. Mm-hmm. It doesn't show you the position. You got to
count and remember where you're at.
Well, go ahead and pull on. I'm out of the way. Pull on 40. And not break your knuckle.
That's the first one.
Not break your knuckle pulling on 40.
It's flaps 20.
Okay.
Flaps 30.
Yeah.
God,
see where it is?
That's ridiculous.
See where it is?
I'm just looking at the flaps. I mean, how the hell? I mean, I guess if you'd use those as speed brakes on the
You don't have flaps 40, but they took that off sometime in the 70s because people doing that needs to be lubricated, those pulleys. I got to do that too. That's another thing. People, when they were doing let me think here for a power on stall. That's trim.
Yeah.
Power on stall with 40-degree flaps will put them in a spin sometimes.
That's why you don't want to do that. But I am going to get spin training. It's on the list.
Yeah. Well, that decathlon will do it for you.
Well, that's what we'd be doing.
That's what you do it in.
And then Mateo will move me over to full aerobatics. Yeah. But from the aspect of, and that's why I wanted him to do a little bit of, why I wanted to do spin training. Why I got him to go through and do a barrel roll and a aileron roll with me, so I know what it felt like and experience it once. Because
last thing you want to sick?
No, I was fine. That was the thing. That was kind of my litmus test. I was totally fine. Not a single side effect at all. And so I might go up and do a lesson with him in the aerobatics and get to do all the falling leaves and all this other crap and see if I really can't barf all of his airplane. But I don't think that'll happen. I've never had a weak stomach like that.
The only time I've ever thrown up is if I've been seriously drunk.
Oh, no, I was always dizzy for days afterwards. Not that I got sick, I just was a little bit nauseated. And then there's just about the only placard it has on it. And it's in miles per hour, isn't it?
Normal category, design weight 2450, maneuvering VA maneuvering is 120 or 109 knots. Maximum VNE is 122 knots. Wow, okay. Oh no, VNE is 153 knots. Maximum structural cruising.
Where you can make an abrupt movement of your controls without breaking it.
And then VFE is 87 knots.
Yeah.
Okay. No aerobatic maneuvers, including spins. Well, you know, I hope you don't ever get in a situation where you have an unauthorized spin. But if you do, getting out should, you know, that's why you train for this stuff, and you stay current and proficient. Proficiency is better than currency.
And you stay current. And a good way of inspecting, see the pulleys and the cables?
Yep.
A good way of inspecting one of those cables is just run your hand down, and if it starts, you know, cut you a little bit, then it's starting to fray. If it's smooth, it's okay. And then the pulleys, you know, I'm going to have to go through and do the wingless too. See, they're all free.
Yeah.
Make sure they're all free. And they don't have flat sides on them. And then you go back here and see, you saw back in there. Well, here.
Oh, yeah.
You saw.
Yeah,
well,
so
you do it with a flashlight where you can see a little bit better. I didn't put the zinc chromate all the way back. I painted some of it.
you need to hire a midget.
Yeah. But you can put skis in it. And this plane had an STC for removing the back seat, removing the co-pilot seat, putting in a stretcher and carry a body.
No kidding.
That's why they say, how many souls aboard? Right?
Yeah, how many
soul is living
person.
Because back in
versus
the old
a
days,
stiff.
back in the old days, people would just they would make extra money just taking, and you don't have to have a commercial license if you carry a dead person.
Because that's baggage.
Watch your head.
That's why I was.
The planes, the later ones, put a. I've told you this before. They put a little piece of aluminum in here that has a rounded edge, so you don't
get flap head.
Yeah. But the wind. It's hard to believe this, but the wind itself. You notice they're always like this? These are. The wind bends those. They didn't come from the factory with that bend in them. Just the flying and flying causes them to bend a little bit. They're never straight anymore.
Well, you know.
And that doesn't affect you very much.
The bird will find its own, you know, asymmetric, aerodynamic, whatever. Did you say you still need to install the ADS-B? Is that?
Yeah, it's not in. It's not in. So there's a few things to do. But I'm making progress. So I got all the interior back in. And of course, the seats go in pretty easy. And I do not have it was an STC. Years ago, somebody, the pins that hold your seat in position popped loose. The seat slid backwards. The guy pulled back on the yoke, stalled, and died. So his wife sued Cessna for, at the time, $7 million for a defect. So what Cessna did to fix it was two things. One, they have an AD where you have to measure these holes. And two, they put a seat belt, what do you call it, inertia reel, on the bottom of your pilot's seat, and then put an anchor right here. So if it ever broke loose, it would stop you from going backwards. I don't have that, didn't want to put it in, didn't like it, didn't do it. Wasn't mandatory. Remember, a service bulletin is not mandatory. The only thing that is truly mandatory is an airworthiness directive.
Oil temperature, right tank, left tank, oil pressure, oil temperature.
See, those gauges are...
Yeah, worthless.
Not the highest quality in the world.
I was looking for the ammeter.
Amp meter?
Ammeter, yeah.
You got it right here. You're looking at it.
It's there it is. Amps and okay, there it is, right there. Okay. Okay, I see. That's what I was looking for. Cross needle gauge.
The EGT and the CHT are on one gauge and the fuel flow is another gauge.
So, okay, it's your fuel flow, and then this is where you have all your stuff up here for engine management.
CHT and EHGT. Yeah, it's 6-cylinder, so you got to have one for each cylinder. I really never learned to use it very well.
Well,
I never was very good at using it.
you know, Steve, in flying 190 Mike Echo, we never, I don't think you were, when you rode with Jeff and I out to Atlanta, we just flip over to fuel flow and we'd roll the deal back to 8 gallons an hour, and that was pretty damn close to
Yeah, but
lean
that
a peak.
Garmin 1000 has all that stuff in
Well, I
it.
know, but that's doing the same thing. It's got the same temperature probes. I mean, you're looking at the same thing. So if you, I don't know if on this one if that works the same way because it's a gear reduction engine, everything else.
No,
if
it
you,
works the same way.
so we could be flying to Mississippi to do the prop
Well-
or whatever, flying wherever, and I just roll
Yeah.
or lean it out until I see 8 gallons an hour, and I should be in the ballpark or something, or 9.
Well, when this plane was manufactured and shipped, there was no such thing as that either. All you had was you could lean it out until it started missing and then come back in a turn. You
Okay.
didn't have a gauge. And here's your primer. See,
Yep. It just squirts directly into the.
it does the 4 back cylinders. Yeah, it squirts directly in.
That's definitely different.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's different because, you know, and then, let's see, what else? Oh, all the instrumentation on this plane originally was just nothing but right here. This cylinder gave you everything. Temperature, everything. There was nothing but that cylinder, and that's number 1 in this case. On a Lycoming, your number 1's up there. They did it backwards, idiots.
Yeah, in our last video, we were doing a walk around here and looking at the engine, and I ran out of battery.
Yeah.
So it's abruptly cut off.
So
But
here's how you know, when you do your walk around, they tell you on this nose strut, you know, it used to be a pack of cigarettes. But in reality, what it is 32 pounds of pressure right there with the nose wheel. Yeah, it's got to be cleaned out. With the nose.
is that water?
No, it's not water. It's just a line. It was a fuel line, and the fuel drained out.
Oh,
See the little Schrader valve in there? That's
yeah. Top of the oleo strut?
yeah, that's yellow.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is you have to put a weight down on the tail and lift the whole gear up so it's extended, and then put 35. Well, then of course you let out all the air, and then you push him all the way up, and then you hook a bottle of fluid with a line over that Schrader valve. You pull the Schrader valve out, and then you hook that into your hydraulic fluid, and then you pull it all the way down, and then push it all the way back up again, and then you put your Schrader valve in, and then you put 35 pounds in it.
Okay.
And that's the real way to set the nose strut. But what a lot of people do, though, they just try to get in there, and getting in there is not easy to do. They get in there and they just put 35 pounds in, and you know, it's good to put nitrogen in and not air, but you don't always have nitrogen.
So what is the condition of the fuel tanks right now? Are they full, empty?
No, they're empty now. They're cleaned out and empty.
Cleaned out, totally empty.
But,
Okay.
but I'm going to have to run some more. And they've always been run on, what I would do, I have an STC, it's called Peterson STC for running on car gas. But that was old car gas that didn't have alcohol in it.
Right.
So what you would do is you would put car gas in one tank and put airplane gas in the other.
So avgas and
you'd take
MoGas.
off on airplane gas, and you'd land on airplane gas and leave airplane gas in the system, but while you're cruising, you burn your cheap car gas.
See, that to me, well, back in the day without the alcohol in there. See, the problem, or methanol or ethanol, whatever the hell, the ethanol is basically water. And that I could think of nothing that could cause carb icing faster than ethanol-infused fuel.
There's a carburetor ice sensor that you can add, and you had it right here. I'll show you. On the back of the carburetor, you had it right there where that drain plug is, safety wired. You had it right back there, and it'll tell you if your carburetor's ice. Remember, your carburetor can ice up to around 40 degrees.
See, I got spoiled on the 172 SP because it was an IO 360. It was fuel injected. No, it doesn't have a carburetor. It had no carburetor. We don't have a knob for carb heat. It's not a part of the landing procedure. It's nothing.
And see, this one, the motor mounts are sitting in there. Actually, they were new motor mounts, but it's been a while, so they're kind of cracking. But anyway, they're sitting in a cradle. The Lycomings have a dynafocal mount where they're like this and like this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's held at the end of 4 stakes. This one is sitting like in a cradle, like your car. But this is your ground, because you have to get ground from here to your engine.
I'm surprised you just don't have a ground strap from the engine to the fuselage somewhere.
You got another one, but that's a backup right there. See, this ground strap goes around these motor mounts.
Well, like here, I guess they're on all 4 corners, aren't they?
Yep.
No, actually, no, they're not. Oh, yes, they are. I'm sorry. All 4 corners have a ground strap.
Put them in, so.
Yeah.
And here is the cowl flap controls.
Okay.
So, and the cowl flaps are on the
Cowling.
lower cowling itself. And the cowling on this one goes bolt on, screws bolt on instead of those little fasteners that break. Yeah. So anyhow, that's cool. That's it. I need to get the battery, see if it'll go, or get another battery.
I would wish you good luck with that. Well, the AGM batteries.
I don't think it's going to charge up. I really don't, but it's worth trying. Ahead of the time, it's worth trying. It's probably going to it'll get enough current probably to spin it without a plug in it.
Yeah, add the compression.
But it won't.
But if you need me to bring over the carbon pile, let me know.
Oh yeah, I need to do 20. I need to do 12 volts. What it's putting out 12.5 volts, and I really need a 20 amp load.
I can give you 20. I can give you 200. I can give you 400.
Carbon what size pile, wire do I need?
Well, the carbon pile it's a tester. It's a box, like a lunch box with a voltmeter and an amp meter on it, and you hook it up and you start rolling the knob until you see your current come up to whatever you want, and you just leave it.
Oh, okay, and it just hooks straight to the battery, huh?
Mm-hmm. Straight directly to the
big
battery.
wires?
It's got 4 gauge or something. It's heavy. Like I say, it's meant to test 400, 500 amps.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, all right.
There's one other thing I got to ask you about.
Okay.
You go to the car and get. This is gun stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, folks, we're going to wrap this one up here with 8344 Tango. Got the prop hung. We're ready to move on to the next step. It's a little baby step, so everybody, I'd encourage you to stay tuned to Wolf Pilot as we get this bird back up in the air. We'll see you guys later. Stay safe. Keep a positive attitude. We'll see you down the road. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like instant email notifications of channel updates, please find the link in the description below.